Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Day2K. Welcome back on our Wednesday stream. We're going to get into some World of Warships because presently they have just unleashed a Christmas event, as you can see. The wonderful tree and all that good stuff all over here. So they've unleashed all that stuff, and there's a new battle pass going. So we're gonna, dive into it. I guess the final Star Trek missions have kind of released. I haven't even touched that yet, to be honest with you. So we might jump into that as well. But we're gonna have some fun with some ships tonight. Our next stream is going to be World of Tanks. So keep that in mind. We're going to do some World of Tanks on Friday. And if I can pop up a stream either before or afterwards, we'll throw in some other random games and stuff like that. But in the meantime, kick back, relax, pull up a chair, a couch, whatever you're chilling on, and, a nice beverage of your choice, and let's just enjoy the show and have some fun with warships tonight. All right, let's go. And for those of you that are watching live on Twitch, unfortunately, Twitch is going to do their things. We're going to get ads. So here we go. And for those of you probably seeing this VOD someday on YouTube, I'm sure YouTube will throw their ads in too.
Know your role and shut your mouth because the people's...
Okay, Blurp's doing its thing. Live Gaming, how's it going? We'll get that refreshed. Sound alerts, all that. Refresh. Okay, there we go. So how's it going, Life Gaming? Unfortunately, that seems to want to rear its head whenever it feels like it. We've something flying in my face. I've reached out to somebody who hopefully can get some answers and some resolution in regards to that. So hopefully we'll have that sorted out soon. So hey, how's it going? I haven't, you know what? We haven't done carrier battle. So I figured let's do a carrier battle. We'll see what's what. Now, carrier battles are definitely they're not as easy as they look. I would arguably say, as far as difficulty goes, playing this, you have your surface ships, your destroyers, cruisers, battleships. Those are kind of, I don't want to say they're easy, but they're easier to kind of, I guess, play, if you will. Now, when you want to ratchet up the difficulty, submarines is obviously another, huge barrel of monkeys you can get into. Carriers is definitely, there, there's a big skill gap. More so than you do with submarines, because it's not easy lining up your shots, getting your attacks in, because on the same token, you're probably having, multiple ships target you with AA. So your planes are getting chewed up, all while you're trying to, get your weapons on target. And then you also have to keep in the back of your mind, while you're doing that, you've lost control of your ship. So you have to keep an eye out that somebody else might be trying to target your ship. So it can get crazy real quick and overwhelming real quick. But, we'll kick it off. We haven't played for a while. We'll have some fun and see what's what. Let's see here. Uh-oh, what did you do? And let's see. We'll set out some fighters. I bought one of those Black Friday cases. I thought you were guaranteed to get a ship at least. As far as I can tell, I just got a little bit more premium time. Yeah, you can end up in that. Um, whereas it might not be guaranteed. Damn it, they're trying to attack me already. Damn it, I missed. I need to get out of Dodge. When I read it, it says you're meant to get two things. There we go. Yeah, sometimes they nail you on the small print. Yeah, they can get you on that small print. It's a pain in the butt, but I just looked at it again. Reckon one of one item. I mean, you can try and submit a ticket and see what they say. It's lagging again. Sorry, folks. Can't hear my game again? Really? What is going on with the... I set this last time. Seriously? There you go. You should be able to hear it now. I don't know why. I set it like literally the last time we were playing this game. I said it. Now I just said it again.
Engaging enemy.
Enemy battleship sunk.
I'll have to dust it off. Oh, you got me before I could drop those bombs. Yeah, it's good now. No, because I had to reset it again. I don't know why, like, Windows is doing that. Gotta love Windows, 24H2.
Our team has taken the lead.
Is the way of turning the cheer music off in the store. I don't know. I mean, I think in your game settings you can turn the music off. That might do it. Like music import. That might be one of the settings.
Our team has taken the lead.
Approaching target.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Did that work? That did it? Okay. There you go. They figured maybe you just wanted to listen to the Christmas music. There's that bing, 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 a bing, 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 a bing, bong. Maybe that's what they wanted for you. Trust me, I don't get it. The Christmas stuff in November, I'm like, can we at least wait till December 1st? I'm like, literally, like, it's less than a week away. Can we, like, just Can we wait?
Engaging enemy.
Oh, just around him. Come on. Got him. Actually doing pretty damn good in a carrier battle. Kudos to my team for keeping him off of me. They capped it out. Big bongers. Huron destroyer any good? Huron's Canadian ship, tribal class. If it's anything like the Haida, I would say it's a good gunboat. You want to use smoke. Don't get yourself caught in the open because you get tore to pieces. But that's with any destroyer. I believe it has one set of 4 tube launchers for torpedoes. Pretty long range, but you only have that one set. And the reload's a little bit of a pain. But if you use smoke and use it as a gunboat, you can tear up, cruisers and to some extent maybe a battleship, but you can definitely cause some problems for a lot of folk. Look at this battle. 72,000, almost 73,000 in damage in a carrier. I like the bombs on this carrier, the Furious. It's kind of like a little carpet bomb kind of thing going on instead of just a single shot drop. Kind of just like, rains down fury on them. I like it. What about Alabama? Decent battleship. I'm trying to think with the Alabama. That's in the ship store, right? Okay, hold on. We'll go through them all. Give me a second here. I'll tell you. Black Friday. Okay, no, ships. Okay, so it probably wouldn't be all ships. Here we go. Okay, let's see here. They're honest to some extent as far as their ships go in here, the premiums. But they do tend to lean more on the positives than do the negatives about it. Okay, wait. So Alabama's U.S. battleship, and I think it's a tier. Oh, okay, Bama. Yeah, see right here. So shooting accuracy over long ranges is challenging. Long shell flight time makes it difficult to take optimal target lead. So basically what this means is every time you fire a volley off, by the time the shells get there, they've already had tea and crumpets and moved on. So you definitely gonna have to, be patient when you're first playing this till you get used to it. So when you're firing your shells, you can lead far enough ahead that you're gonna target where you want to hit. So for example, if you want to hit this section here, you're going to target like way over here. So by the time the shells hit and the ship is like moving along, your shells will go where they want to go. So unless you're close range, don't aim for the middle and expect to hit the middle. You're not gonna hit the broadside of a barn. Basically, that's what they're telling you. It moves slow. The consumables are decent because you can go between spotting aircraft or a fighter for AA. It already has high AA defense, but adding the fighter just gives you that much more, which could be a good thing. But then again, you're sacrificing the spotting aircraft, which extends your gun range. But I will say when she does hit, she's gonna pack a pretty punch, but like I said, you got to get used to the aiming mechanic on it. Trying to find one that's not a ripper off. See, and that's gonna be the hard part for you, Life Gaming, because you got to understand, a ship to me might be like the hottest thing since sliced cheese, but to you it could be like the worst ship ever, right? So each one kind of has their own pros and cons, so you kind of have to see what works for you as far as your play style, right? So if you enjoy battleships, okay, so do you enjoy more of a brawling battleship where it's got tons of secondaries and you go in and you're like a bull in a china shop, or do you like to sit back and snipe? All this you have to take into consideration as far as what ships. Some are going to be better at some things and worse at others, and vice versa, right? So it's dependent, highly dependent on your play style. That I will say. What do they mean by secondaries? So secondaries are basically, I'll show you. So for example, let's take the Andre Doria. Okay, so artillery. So we'll show you here. So basically, can we, oh, okay, it's this port. That's why we can't really see it. Okay, so you have your main guns, which, you're firing off, and that's what you have, right? But your secondaries are kind of like these little guns that are off on the side. So normally what these do is if, for example, let's say you're going straight on like this, and you have a destroyer or another ship coming on an angle towards you, like usually somewhere into your bow, your secondaries, or depending on the firing arc of them, usually it's about a 45 degree, you're going to see just random shells coming off of your ship firing away. Those are usually your secondaries that are activating, and they can cause fire. You know, some of them are AP only, so they're not causing fire, but they're causing hull damage. Really helpful usually when destroyers are sneaking up on you when you're in a battleship, or if you're on battleship. Sometimes secondaries could, you know, mean the difference between you living and you being sunk. Different ships have different secondaries as far as ranges, shell type, reload time, damage, you know, how often they could potentially cause a fire to a ship. There's a lot of things to take into account. Now there's certain ships that come with better secondary armament than others, and those you will tend to build towards a secondary build. Now what I mean by a secondary build is, I'll show you here on my Bismarck. Where are you? Bismarck. So my Bismarck has 105, 150 millimeter secondary guns, which are probably as big as most destroyers. So I'm firing destroyer type shells out the side of my ship. So what I've done with a secondary build is I've focused, I've got flags, for example here, it boosts the range, reload time, and lowers the dispersion, so they're more accurate. And also you can get these things here, these modifications you can add depending on the tier of your ship, which can further customize your ship to your playstyle. So because I know the Bismarck has, you know, great secondaries, I focused on a secondary build for it, so that way I'm boosting the effects and abilities of my secondary guns. So for example, most secondaries, I'm trying to think what the stock was on this. I think it was about maybe 9 kilometers ish, around there. So I've got them out to an 11.5 kilometer range thus far. So any ship within 11.5 kilometers not only has to deal with my main guns that I'm firing at them, they have to deal with the plethora of secondary guns that are just rapidly firing off and trying to hit them as well, which can cause secondary damage like fires, etc., etc. So you can really ruin somebody's day with that stuff. So hopefully that helps. Well, I don't go over her cruise side online. So you don't need to, no, the secondaries are automatically firing. They're auto fired. So basically the only thing you would need to do, so this port is, let me see if I can, okay, select port. Let me change this port here so I can give you a better look. Okay. So we'll go to cure here. Okay, here we go. So we got a better look here. So your main guns you fire regularly. Your secondaries, as you can see, on the Bismarck, they're pretty big. But you see, there's a secondary, there's a secondary. Sometimes they're like tiny, like they almost look like anti-aircraft guns, which these are here. But is the firing arc of them. So as long as a ship comes within the firing arc of them, the secondaries, so you have to keep in mind range, firing arc. As long as they're within those two things and your secondaries aren't destroyed and they're still firing off, you'll be good to go. They'll, you know, keep popping off and you'll see them. For example, I'll take this out and I'll show you what I mean. Let's collect this stuff. Okay, so that's collected. We got 2 containers here. Okay, so for example, Okay, we'll take, make sure I'm all loaded up here. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so here we go. So we'll take it out and go here. 22-second reload on a battleship isn't a bit long. No. Some battleships, depending on the guns in the ship, you could be looking at 30 seconds for a shot. You got the Azuma B? No. Azuma B is basic. Now, if you get that ship, you'll also get the Azuma regular. The only difference between the regular Azuma and the Azuma B is the permanent black camo that they throw on. So, for example, here, the Black B, it's a destroyer, the black, but then the B is, I don't, there's B for black, meaning the black camo that's permanently attached to that ship. But the cool thing that they do is they kind of give you both ships, right? So hopefully I'll show you what I mean here with the secondaries. And the reload times and all that on your main guns and all that, you can lower. Like I said, you can improve your ship just based on the commander, the skills you unlock for those, the modifications that you put on. Depending on what tier, you get certain amount of slots. So depending on those, signal flags can help boost parameters on your ship. So there's tons that can affect a ship from its base stats. So hopefully I'll catch somebody within 11.5 kilometers and we'll get these suckers firing off. Now, another thing you can do is, let's say I don't want to stir up, I don't want to start firing at planes because they might detect me. If I hit the P button, it'll turn off my secondaries and my anti-aircraft guns. So keep that in mind. Most of the time you don't want to. You want to keep them locked and loaded and ready to go. Another thing you can do is, you see how that, before he disappeared, that little auto thing showed up? That is, I can have the ability to set my secondaries to focus fire on him. So see, there you go. So now because I've right click or hit the control button and then clicked on that ship, my secondaries will now focus on him when he gets within range. So even though, damn it, I'm gonna eat torps.
Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes astern. Problem solved, sir.
See, everybody's trying to take me out because they know I've got nasty secondaries.
We spotted an enemy submarine. Torpedoes, direct front.
Airborne!
Ship is on fire. Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Airborne!
Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Critical engine
Damn it.
damage.
Come on.
Awaiting instructions.
Okay, here we go. See? Those are automatically firing off.
Torpedoes, direct front. Fighter returning to ship.
See, my main guns haven't reloaded yet, but the other guns are going like crazy. So as you can see, obviously I got my butt handed to me there, but obviously you can see the usefulness of secondaries. So just in that little short bit, I got 12 hits with my secondary guns. Now normally I'm in the range of 60 to 80 on secondary shots, in addition to then I add on my main shells and all the other, stuff. So hopefully that kind of helps explain secondaries for you. Yeah, subs can be a pain in the butt, big time. But hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of secondaries. As I said, some ships are better suited for a secondary build than others. So again, depending on your play style, certain ships will be good for you versus others. It's like World of Tanks. Everybody asks all the time, what's the best tank in the game? Well, there isn't no such thing as best tank in the game, because a tank that, like, case in point, I enjoy the KV2. I enjoy the Progetto. I enjoy the M4 Sherman, T-34, Tiger 1. You know what I mean? Like the quote-unquote famous tanks I enjoy, as well as a couple of, other ones. Whereas somebody else might come in and be like, no, those tanks are like crap. I don't like them at all. They're like the worst in the game. Well, to me, they're like awesome, but just another player, they're trash, right? So it's all in perspective. It's all in play style. It's, kind of what you like. I will say, based on ships, if you know the strengths and weaknesses of your ship, and you can maximize the strengths of your ship while, downplaying as much as possible the weakness of your ship, you're going to be successful, and that ship's going to perform exactly how you want it to perform, if not better. So I will say, some ships that let's say you just get a ship, it's not going to be the same ship for you the day you get it, like the very first battle, compared to, if you played that ship 200 battles. The difference is going to be large, because by 200 battles, you theoretically you would know the ins and outs of that ship, and you would obviously be playing it better than you would the very first battle you got it. So, ships right off the hop might not be your cup of tea, but if you keep plugging away at it, you never know, they might surprise you. So, it's hard to say what, as far as ships go, especially premiums, kind of like what's good, what's not good. I will say at least that they're honest in the armory when you're going to purchase them. They tell you, hey, like, for example, if I click this, kind of like, okay, hey, what's good on it, what's not good, and kind of like, this is, kind of, it's not really good, it's not really bad, it's just kind of, okay, here we are, right? So at least they're kind of giving you that honesty. Now, what they mean by survivability is usually could be, it's in this category. So it could be, hit points. It could be, armor, they would say probably low armor, but survivability would be low hit points. So knowing that for that ship, having low hit points, I could then go to my captain and go, oh, okay, well, here, I can, is this it? Or did they change this? There's an ability that looks like this. Hold on, let me see if it's here. Here it is. So survivability expert, for example, it'll give me an extra 450 hit points for every tier. So you figure, okay, well, hey, let's go back and let's look at this, right? So we were looking at the San Diego, was it? Where did you go? You were like literally just here. Am I like off my rocker? Did I miss something here? Okay, cruiser. Like literally, I just seen this thing. No, it wasn't the Azuma B. Did it just disappear on me? Okay, did I like literally just... I was literally just looking at the San Diego. Okay, well, whatever. We'll take Sims, for example, here. So if it said low survivability, okay, so that one captain skill that I just showed you there, so this is a tier 7. So I would get 7 times 450 hit points added on to the hit points of the ship. Right? Just because I selected survivability expert here for my captain skills. Now, when you're training your captain, these little kind of arrows in the corner, they tell you it's a recommended skill. So they're trying to help you out to kind of get, you know, better performance out of your ship. Now, again, the recommended skill might not work for you, might not be what you want, right? So you go with, you know, what works for you, and that you'll gain with experience, right? So all this stuff you have to keep in mind as you go forward. These Black Friday ships, do they disappear after the Black Friday, or can you still buy them out for a bit more? I think they're done on the Black Friday. So they give you, I think there's what? Yeah, it says here 3 days, 14 hours, 9 minutes and change left. But I'm on the North American server, so I assume it's the same. For the EU region, the time might be different, but if you go, you can just hover over it and it'll tell you when the event ends. But usually when the event is over, that's it. They box them up until the following time they bust out the event. It's usually Black Fridays, which is in the US, which is what I think the Friday that just passed. I think that was their Black Friday. But most people, they kind of extend it for a week. So there you go. But they're always throwing things up. You know what I mean? Like there's like the Steel Fleet now. Black Friday fleet's on the way. Okay, here's the San Diego. I knew I wasn't losing my mind. So there's that. Now we have the Santa's event is going to start in 3 days. So when Black Friday finishes, the Santa's gift stuff will come, and then there'll be a whole new whack of ships there. Same thing as the expedition to the North Pole. If you've been grinding along these missions, 3 days, 11 hours left. As you can see, you'll gain ships. So I'm getting a free tier 10 ship, some containers, camouflage. Yeah, so it looks like one container, camo. Okay, 3 containers, a ship and a camo, 3 containers, 6 containers. So I can get one of 5 ships, including the Schlieffen. So there you go. I have a chance to get one of 5 tier 10 ships. As far as this free bonus ship, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to be, but hey, I have a chance to get that. So that works on that. And then, of course, you have your Star Trek event that's still going on. Final bing bong of that, we'll kill the Star Trek sound. The final bit of that is just starting now. So apparently you're going to fight the Borg Queen and all that stuff. We'll get into it. We'll take a look, see what's what. But yeah. So there's all that cool stuff. So we'll go back to our Grinchy event. Yes, I know about that. Someone showed me that earlier. Oh, okay, cool. Battles until next ornament 1. Complete missions with our 2 adventurers to progress through 2 event past chapters. Okay. I guess that's leeway. And then what ship is this? Okay. And then when you finish it, you get chapter 2. Okay. So as long as I get to chapter 11 and then I guess play with this commander on a ship, I guess I progress. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Okay, so that must be it. Complete missions with our 2 adventures to progress through 2 event past chapter. Okay, so as long as I have that commander and I do 2 things. Okay, cool. Okay, I've viewed my ship. Okay. Let's turn around. Bing, 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 bong. Okay, so I've done that. Do I get that? No. Event calendar. Collect rewards and dive into the story of 2 explorers looking for a lost battleship. Okay, well. Am I going to get goodies for that? Gift available in 3 days. Okay, well, we'll see. Okay. So we'll kick off into this and we'll see what's what. So we had a great battle with our carrier, and we'll move on to other Bing Bong ships. Let's see here. I really want to get rid of this ship. I'm not a fan of these puppies, but we'll just plow through it. Make sure we're good. There we go. So I got my speed flag. Give me an extra 5% speed. All right, so we've almost got another level of points. There's no point in that one because he doesn't have HE. And what's our torpedoes at? 8 kilometers, 61 knots, 72 seconds reload. Okay. Reload time might help. Torpedo damage and secondary battery firing range. So here you go. So 20% on the secondary range. What's our range on this? 5.6 kilometers. So 20% on that. So that would put me over 6 kilometers. Not great, but not too bad. And then the top grade gunner would decrease the reload time, which could be good. But I don't know. We'll battle on. We'll see. Oh, that's a shame. The ship on there that's better cost a bit more, not quite gone for it, as she has been spending my money on a birthday present. Okay. It is what it is. Come on, we all know the standard, gift for dudes, like I don't get why it's different. It's socks and underwear. Let's be honest. That's what we get every year. Socks and underwear. Christmas and stuff like that. You know what? I don't know. I'm old school, but you know, I'm a firm believer. It's always about, you know, wives, girlfriends, fiancés, and kids. Christmas is never about the dude. We get socks and underwear. That's it. Once a year, we go through the drawer, throw out the old holy ones, or the, you know, the dusty, as my kids would say, the dusty, musty crusties. And then, yeah, you know, you stock up with some new ones. So, yeah.
Awaiting
It is what
instructions.
it is.
Acknowledged.
I mean, you get to a certain point in life, it's like, oh, honey, can I get this? Can I? Yeah, whatever makes you happy. As long as I have peace and quiet. Go ahead. Sure. But it's funny. My missus, her excuse all the time is, oh, well, it's only like $5-10 this, you know, $20 here, $10 there. And I'm like, yeah, but it adds up. And she's like, well, at least I'm not like, you know, dropping like 3,000-4,000 at a time. And I'm like, true, but you know, usually the $5, $10, $20 stuff adds up to, you know, the 3, 4, 5, 6 grand. The only difference is she does it in baby steps, so you don't notice. Because if you look at your bank account and all of a sudden see like 5 grand missing, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Like, whoa, what's going on here? I mean, it's $5-10. You'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe she got a cup of coffee. Yeah, who cares, right? But not me. Nope.
Sighted on the horizon.
I catch her all the time when she's buying like lunch or coffee at work. I called her up one day and I go, so how was that cup of coffee? Was it good? She goes, huh? Or my favorite is when she goes to Amazon. When she's looking at things at Amazon, I'll get an email and it'll be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, you know, here's something else you're looking for. And I'll be like, oh, were you looking at da 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 da? And she's like, how do you know? And I go, Amazon snitches you. And she's like, oh my god, damn Amazon. So I'll bounce that a little bit. Not too much damage. Oh, shnikes. Oh shit, I fired behind.
Ship is on fire. Torpedoes astern.
Good, he's gonna drop torps on me. Come on, where are you?
The ship is on fire.
Damn it. Okay, I cannot tango like this. I'm getting my butt handed to me.
Problem solved, sir.
Oh, you took out my rudder. Took out my rudder.
Torpedoes astern. The ship is on fire. Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes astern.
Oh, Jesus. I'm just getting bing bong. What's the difference between a battleship and a cruiser? Guns, armor, whole whack. Now, in practical sense, cruisers are meant to take out destroyers. Destroyers are meant to take out, basically everybody they can with torpedoes. But now that subs are in the game, their job is to kind of take out the submarines. And or just harass the crap out of everybody with fires, smoke, torpedoes. They're just there to be a general nuisance as a destroyer. The more you can aggravate people as a destroyer, the better off you are, because then everybody's focusing on you, not focusing on the big guns that are like ripping them to pieces. Case in point, you've just seen it there. Battleships are kind of like your big guns, your heavy hitters. They're meant to tangle with other battleships, and they're meant to, kind of erase cruisers as quickly as possible. So think of it kind of like a circle. You know what I mean? Kind of like Pokemon. Water Pokemon beat fire Pokemon kind of thing. So, in theory, that's the way it's supposed to work. Battleships to cruisers, cruisers to destroyers, destroyers to, battleships, and, you insert carriers and subs in there, and yeah, it can turn into a big, huge ball of wax. So that's that. But, that's a quick and easy way to explain it. Obviously you can get into more detail about it. Like, I would say, for the most part, battleships don't have torpedoes on them. Some of them do, so you have to keep that in mind. Cruisers usually have, depending on the nation, they have a mix of torpedoes and guns. But cruisers are kind of more generally, they're kind of like a support role, if you will. They're more in the middle. Depending on the ship, the nation, your play style, you can almost do whatever you want with it. But it's not advisable in a cruiser, if you don't have smoke, to take on battleships. It's usually not a good idea, because very rarely are you going to penetrate them with your armor penetrating shells, AP. So you're predominantly going to be regulated to, trying to cause fire damage with your HE shells. And if you get caught in the open, you can get citadeled and obliterated right quick with a battleship volley, as long as they don't overpen you. So, yeah. I'm trying to think. Obviously battleships have big guns. They're slower and less maneuverable than cruisers, for the most part. Way more secondary guns, so they're definitely more of the brawlers. But most people, they're afraid to kind of scratch the paint on battleships. You'll see, for the majority part, a lot of people kind of hide their battleships at the back. See Citadel on that cruiser. And see 7 overpens. So basically I'd scratched his paint and didn't really do much to him. So this Bayern, I don't really want to tango with close range because he's got great secondaries for his tier. So he will mess me up post quick. As you can see, non-penetration over pens.
Problem solved, sir.
Damn, he's slowed down to avoid my torps. Citadel. Damn it. That hurt. That hurt.
We've spotted an enemy submarine. Our team has taken the lead.
Just hyper focused right now.
Our team
Got
has
him.
taken the lead.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Now, destroyers, because they're so fast, I find them hard to hit at times. And see, because this ship only has AP rounds, I overpenned that destroyer simply because the armor penetration value on my gun is so high that it just goes like right through his hull. Like, I think he's probably only got maybe 10 millimeters of armor. So the shell goes right through him and through the other side before it has a chance to arm and detonate. So even with that overpen, I was lucky enough to get him,
Destroyer foundered.
but it didn't detonate to cause, you know, the full damage that it would normally cause. But it still causes some, very minor. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still putting a hole through his ship. So, yeah. Not necessarily battleships are stronger. Again, depends on the ship, depends on your play style. Like, I mean, you've seen in the Bismarck when I was showing you, you know, the secondaries, you can very quickly get obliterated really quick if you're being, you know, targeted by multiple enemies, and especially folks that are skilled and know where to kind of aim and hit you. Yeah, they can cause a lot of trouble for you. Damn it, he got me. I turned too hard. Now see, that's a gaff spree. Basically, that is a cruiser with battleship guns. Hopefully he doesn't see my torps. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he might. No, he's too quick. He's going to get past him. Just missed the tail. If I would have let it more out that way, I would have been all right. But, for example, this Gaspee, as you can see, it's got the big old battleship guns on it. Secondaries are firing. Torpedo tubes off the rear. I believe those are either 6 or 8 kilometer torps in tubes of 4 that you could fire off of each end. Now the angle on them, obviously you can tell, you know, the angle isn't that great, but those guns can cause a lot of damage, but a battleship can just like blow right through them. But then again, that ship can just demolish battleships real quick as well. So, you know, it's either and or. I mean, you might be able to survive longer in a destroyer than you would a battleship. It trust me, there's so many variables. It's kind of hard to kind of say, oh, yay or nay, right? Yeah, we got Santa Claus boots. We're decorating our Christmas tree. So, 4 more battles till we get another one. What do we got here? Claim rewards. Okay, there we go. I got some kind of, what is this? Camo. Oh, permanent camo. So I can attach that to a particular ship, and then once I attach it to that ship, it's permanently stuck onto that ship. But then it's a permanent camo instead of having to, you know, replace camos or buy camos. So cool. That'll work. We'll get our coal. So basically, well, I'm basically thinking of to Alabama or Azuma. I like them both, but I can only get one. Which would be your choice? Oh, it would. Oh, that's a hard choice. Honestly, it's a hard choice. Have you played much of either nation's battleships? That's kind of where I would go as far as choice. Reason being is depending on your play history with them, will determine kind of where you go with it. So for example, if you've played a lot of American battleships, you're kind of used to how they handle. So I would say go with the Alabama. If you played more of the Japanese battleships, you're used to those ships. Now I will say the Japanese battleships, from my experience, and mind you, I haven't played them all, I haven't gotten into all of them, but from my experience is they have fewer barrels, higher caliber guns, but aren't really great at long range shooting. Whereas the US battleships, more barrels, less caliber, but tend to be a bit more accurate with their shooting. So you kind of, you know, you kind of go with what you're feeling. But let's look at the Azuma B, right? You're playing the UK line. Yeah, UK line's completely different. Okay, yeah, so you're looking, okay, so this is a cruiser. It's the Azuma B. So you've got no torps on this one, which Japanese cruisers normally have, I believe, 10 kilometer torps on them. And they're usually in tubes of 2 or 3, one on each side. Low rate of fire, so meaning the reload's going to be a bit. But apparently great long range firing and great damage per salvo. Let's see if we can see. Okay, yeah, here we go. We can see this here. So 20-second reload time, which is pretty good on 310s. Wow, those are battleship guns. So you got battleship guns on a cruiser, but this is tier 9. Secondaries only 6% of causing fire. That's kind of low. But they got a 7-kilometer range, which is the main battery 19 kilometers on a tier 9. Ooh. I mean, it is a cruiser, but at tier 9 that might hurt, to be honest with you. That might hurt. You might have problems with that. Now the Alabama, I believe, is a tier 8, so it's one tier down. And it's a battleship. Let's see this. It's got 406s, which are pretty decent. I mean, and this is a tier 8. Your secondaries not as far out, only 6.6 kilometers, but it is a tier 8 versus a tier 9. Fire chance is only 5%. That's kind of low, but again, tier 8 versus tier 9. But the main battery firing range is 21.1 kilometers. And I believe you get the spotter plane on this, so you could extend that out a bit more. The AA defense on it's good. 5.8 kilometers, though. I mean, better than a poke in the eye. Concealment, 15.7, so you could still fire while you're covered under concealment. What's your armor layout? Let's see here. And this is a cool thing about World of Warships that I'm hoping they get into World of Tanks. You don't even need a mod to do this. In World of Tanks, you do. Let's see here. So 457's the thickest armor, which is on the frontal plates of your guns. 19. Looks like you got turtleback armor. 38 millimeter thickness on the top. So, not too bad. Honestly, if you were going for a premium and you've played battleships before and it's your first premium, in all honesty, I would say Alabama, and the only reason I would say Alabama is simply because it's a tier 8 versus a tier 9. And you know, while you still have the opportunity to get into tier 8, 9, 10 matches, you have also the possibility of 6, 7, 8s. So, and the play style probably be a little bit more beginner friendly in a tier 8 than a tier 9. A tier 9, you're definitely going to see tier 10s. And yeah, you're going to get your butt handed to you right quick. And I could tell you'll be frustrated with that. Especially as a newer player. So yeah, I would recommend the Alabama only because it's a tier 8 and it gives you a chance to get your feet wet in that kind of tier bracket, and it kind of the survivability on it would be a bit better. But yeah, that would be the only reason why I would recommend Alabama over the Azuma, simply because it's a tier less. I played more battleships and destroyers. Yeah, so you definitely want to go that route. So there we go. So we can upgrade this. So we're going to get +3 on hit points, +1 on AA defense, and +3 on maneuverability. So we can actually see what that means. So survivability, and what was it? AA and maneuverability. Okay, maneuverability, AA. Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, so the 6x1s Turn to 6x2s. Okay. That's it for AA. So you get a little bit better guns. Let me see. Maneuverability. Rudder shift time. Big improvement on that. So that's nice. Hit points. Looks like about, yeah, 2950, so just shy of 3,000. So yeah, not bad improvement. Not bad improvement at all. So we finally did that one. Got that one upgraded. Okay, I'll throw that on. Okay, so what do we have to do on our buddy here? He's just 72,000. He's unlocked. He's unlocked. Unlocked. I'm just going through quickly to make sure that all my... Okay, so all of them are there. Okay, so let's look at... What do we got here? Torps 9.5, concealment 10. Not really great. 8. Okay. All right. We're going to pull out the Fusion. Oh, hold on. There we go. So here, these are the kind of upgrades and stuff I was talking about that you can improve the base stats of your ship. So depending on the choice you make, will improve things. So for example, this one here, basically, gives you kind of, more damage control, right? So you can go with this, which will give you your secondary batteries, survivability, AA mount survivability. Most people go with the main armaments one. Damage control parties. So this is kind of, anytime you see a star, it's kind of like a special upgrade. So you get more than you would off the standard, you know, boosts or reductions or whatever have you. I think the standard is 30%, and this one's giving me 40 because it's got the star. So here for the engine room protection, basically it lowers the repair time if they take out my my engines and my steering gears, and also prevents them from being damaged. I could have damage control system, which again reduces the risk of fire flooding. That, depending on the ship that you're using, if you're in a ship that like literally you breathe on and it catches fire a lot, that may be something you consider. Again, each to their own, their play style, etc., etc. Engine boost, I think this is 20% regularly, but again, because of star, I think it's giving me an extra 10%. It basically gives me a little bit more time that, you know, a certain thing is active. So for example, like here on this ship, a speed boost. So basically it's 120 seconds. So if I put that on, it would give me an additional 30% on top of that. So this is the fun one. Aiming system modifications, reduces shell dispersion, so make sure shots more accurate. Torpedo tube traverse speed lower, which basically means how quick you bring your torps to bear. Secondary battery firing range and dispersion, those are good. And then you could go with other things. So priority AA sector preparation time. So basically, if you on keyboard, if I believe the standard key is O. So if, for example, your ship's straight on and you have planes coming from this side, if you're looking to that side and you hit the O key, this whole 180 section of your ship will kind of boost your AA abilities on this side. So basically what would happen is on the opposite side, you kind of don't really have anything there, and you're shifting all your focus to the side that you're selecting. So it kind of gives you a boost on that side, but keep in mind it neglects the other side. So that you have to keep in mind while you're switching back and forth. So torpedo tube modifications, again, torpedo speed gives you plus 5% to the speed of the actual torpedoes, which are good if your torps are like super slow and you want to speed them up. Those are good. Again, this does your traverse speed, but it also prevents your torpedo tubes from getting taken out completely by 40%, which is good. Your smoke generator gives you kind of more time with smoke, and the smoke lasts longer after you've kind of, fired it off. We've got main battery modification 2, which gives you traverse speed, so your guns turn to bear quicker, which is helpful if you're on like a ship where the guns take kind of like Warspite, where they take 6 months of Sundays to kind of, get to, one side of the ship to the other. That might be something you look at. Steering gear modification. I believe there's a concealment one. Again, depends on the ship. You'll get different selections. But on this particular ship, I'm just giving you some examples here. So this will reduce flooding and fire extinguishing time and flood repairs. This gives you kind of a speed boost to your acceleration. So you can go from like stop to max speed 50% quicker. I went with the steering gear modification, so basically it allows me to move, from right to left 20% quicker. And then your depth charge modifications, basically it gives you more depth charges. So if you wanted to be more of an anti-sub warfare, you can do that, and add depth charges to more depth charges to your arsenal, so you can fire off more than once or twice. So hopefully that helps you there. Which one's better, damage control system or engine room protection? Engine room protection, which one's better? Depends on the ship. For like me in a destroyer, I went with engine room protection simply because, let's be honest, one of the things about a destroyer is to be able to move quick, turn on a dime. Basically, you want to kind of go in, cause as much havoc as you can, and be able to get out as quickly as you can. So if they take out your rudder, you can't turn. So could potentially be spinning in a circle and be a sitting duck. If they take out your engine, you can't go. You're stuck there. So you're just, a targeting dummy for them. So that's why I went with engine room protection on my destroyer. Now, the damage control system, the risk of catching fire and flooding, that might be something maybe you put more on a battleship, because obviously people are going to be spamming HE at you. They're going to be launching torpedoes at you. So not all the time is it the initial damage that gets you. It's that secondary effect. So if you have a flood going on and you've got like 3 or 4 fires burning, you're literally and your repair consumable is down, you're literally just gonna watch your health being, hit points being like sucked right out of your ship, and there's nothing you can do about it. So again, depending on your ship and your play style, will dictate kind of which one you want to go with. And these are things you'll learn as you play that particular ship. Now keep in mind, not every battleship is the same. So for example, I'm trying to think here. British battleships have a high chance of causing fire, whereas I believe the Germans are German battleships kind of have a high chance of catching on fire. So you kind of weigh the pros and cons and see what works with you best. And I mean, and you can always switch them out, right? But I tend to kind of hold off until about tier 6 to kind of what I'm going to put in, because then the first 5 tiers you're kind of getting experience in that line, you're kind of learning them, and usually by tier 6 you've probably had anywhere between 1 and 3 tiers of ships of a particular class that you can kind of fall back on and kind of have a little bit of an idea of what you're getting into going forward. And I'll show you that in the tech tree. But before I jump into the tech tree, I just wanted to show you this ship has deep water torpedoes, which are different than regular torpedoes. And how they're different is they have low detectability, and they're usually slower speed than your regular torpedoes, which helps them not be as detected as quickly. The only downside to them is you can't hit other destroyers with them. They will go right under that destroyer. So basically with your torpedoes, you are only targeting cruisers, battleships, and carriers. Anything beyond that, so no subs, no destroyers, you can't hit with your torpedoes. So for subs and destroyers, you're using your guns and depth charges basically, and that's that. But let's go in the tech tree and I'll kind of give you an idea of what I mean by every ship's not kind of the same. So case in point, the American battleship line, you kind of get 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So there you go. You've had 3 tiers of ships, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I kind of got the gist of them. I know what I want to put in. Once you get to tier 7, you're like, okay, I got the hang of this. Then all of a sudden, boom, 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 they've split it into 3 different types. So it'll tell you here kind of what each line is different compared to what you've experienced before. So for here, you'll have the main guns will deal heavy damage. You'll get a defensive AA fire consumable, but the ships will be slower. Go to North Carolina line. Guns are effective at short and medium ranges. So basically long range, not that great. But you get a better repair party consumable. So meaning you can put hit points back on your ship more and quicker, or the reload on it is quicker. You'll get a higher AA defense efficiency, so they're good for anti-aircraft. Whereas you go with the Nebraska line, now you all of a sudden you get bombers. You get a flight of bomb aircraft that can drop high explosive bombs on folks. Again, the guns are effective at short and medium ranges, and you still get that high AA defense. So you've got 3 different types of battleships. They're all battleships, all under the same nation, but they're completely different play styles, all 3. So it is what it is. I'm a fan of the Iowa class, so I can't wait to get into the North Carolina line, to be honest with you. But yeah. The Baleo class, I'm hoping to get into this simply because, hey, I like that movie Down Periscope, and the SS Stingray in that movie was a Baleo class. So there you go. But yeah, perfect example of kind of what goes with what. And from when I first started the game, they didn't put this little kind of info in there. You kind of had, oh, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I can go battleship or I can go destroyer. Okay. All right, cool. And then it was before you had you had more carriers, but you'd be like, oh, okay, well, hey, carrier, I could play carrier. But you didn't know. They didn't give you any information on it. So it's cool that they've put this in now, so you can kind of see what the difference in each kind of class is. News flash: for American cruisers, Phoenix and Omaha are predominantly the only low tier ones that have torpedoes. So if you're going up the cruiser line in the American cruiser lines, as far as your captain skills, I wouldn't really focus too much on torpedoes, because you will lose them once you get to tier 6 and beyond. I don't think there's even, no torps. I don't think there's any with any, so none of them have torpedoes after that. So if you're, for example, in a Phoenix and you're like, oh, I can do, a captain skill, for example, you're like, oh, I can like maximize these. Great. Second you go past Omaha, these torp skills are useless. You're like, oh, I just invested all these points. Why? Now there's no point, because I've got no torpedoes. It's wasted points that I could have put on something else. So keep that in mind. If you are going to move that captain from that ship to another, if you're going to keep the Omaha or the Phoenix and you want them in your port and you're going to keep them, forever, and you're going to keep that same captain in there, then go ahead, load them up, do what you want to do. But just passing on some advice there. Okay, so there you go. What the hell is torpedo lockout system? Torpedo lockout system on the Alabama. Torpedo lockout system. That's on the Alabama? High level of torpedo protection, torpedo lockout system. What are you looking at? Torpedo lockout system. What are you looking at on that? I might know it as something else, because I know from when I started playing until now, like there's been a lot of changes. Yes, it does not explain what it is of the options to mount it. Okay, so you're in a tier 8 battleship. Okay, let me bring up my battleships. And then tier 8s. Let me see here. So, I've only got a couple. Okay, so we'll bring out the Tirpitz. I used to be a whale in this game. I used to have basically like every ship in the world here. Every ship that they had, I had at one point. Torpedo lockout system. Let's see if it's torpedo lockout system. Oh, okay, here it is. Assured acquisition range of torpedoes. Okay, so in regards to a battleship, what this means is on, for example, the Tirpitz, it could be twofold. It could be either A, because the Tirpitz has torpedoes, they kind of, find their target and, are pretty much more, you got a higher percent that they're going to hit. And then the other side of it could also be that you spot the torpedoes being fired against you that much sooner. But on a battleship, honestly, I'd probably go concealment. To be honest with you, simply because it's gonna be longer till an enemy sees you, which means you could potentially fire off more rounds before being found. Another thing is the dispersion of the shells fired by enemies attacking you. You're giving them a +5. So you're making their guns less accurate by 5%. So doesn't seem like a lot, but that 5% could mean the difference between them scoring a citadel and sending you back to the port, or the shell bouncing off of you, and you dishing out more punishment to them. So hopefully that answers your questions. I mean, I know realistically they could be a little a lot better at providing information, but I will admit they are a lot better than they used to be with this. So when the game first came out, like, oh my god, we had to Google everything, we had to go to their website. It was, and a lot of it was trial and error when it first came out. So there's a lot I can say from when it first started to now, but I will say they have improved the game dramatically for a new player kind of coming in and at least having the information readily there. They're still not where I would like it to be, because I'm very pro new player. I'm very pro free to play player experiences, because I believe the new players are the lifeblood to the game. You know what I mean? So the more players you can get into the game, and the better experience they have when they first start, will often dictate to them wanting to stay in the game longer. And the longer they stay in the game, well, evidently, hey, they're going to see a cool ship in the premium store, and they're going to be like, oh, that looks really, hey, that's shiny, I want that. And they're going to be more inclined, because of the positive experience that they've had thus far, to shell out and purchase that premium item, which then obviously goes back into the coffers of the developers, which then keeps the game going, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And all things being of good faith and on board, but it is what it is. I mean, they could be better at explaining things. And obviously, I mean, there's probably CCs out there that can explain this way better than I can. Obviously, they're CCs. They've got they've got access to way more information than I do. But at least I can kind of give you what I've experienced, and what my kind of take on things are, and try and give you as much information as I possibly can. Mind you, I try to be as accurate as possible. I mean, hey, I'm only human. I'm not a CC. I'm not the developer of the game. So, I could be honest with you. Yeah, I could make a mistake and, kind of, maybe not explain things as good as they should be, or hey, maybe I have a perception of something and it's completely different. Who knows? You just got to take it with a grain of salt, and just understand that, hey, my intentions are good, and hopefully you guys get steered down the right path, and it is what it is. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll be like, okay, hey, I was wrong, my bad. It is what it is. And part and parcel, that's kind of why I'm really hesitant to kind of say, 100%, oh, buy this ship, or buy this thing, or buy that, because I don't want somebody to do that, and then all of a sudden they come back and go, oh, well, this is crap. Like, why did I do this? Like, oh, because, A2K told me, and, then I look like, a douchebag, because it's kind of like, oh, well, I kind of gave you the advice. So, all I can tell you for the most part is, and it is honest. It is honesty in the fact that, as far as this game goes, as far as premium ships or even the free-to-play ships, tech tree ships, anything in the game, it's kind of your own experience. You're going to have a better judgment of what works for you and what you think is good or valuable compared to other people. I can give you my experience, my take, my personal view on it, but at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do and which path you want to go. So there you go. It's not equipped with them on this one. Okay. Yeah, so there's no torps on that one. So it's probably acquisition range would probably, if I'm not mistaken, would mean in that case that when somebody fires torpedoes at you, you kind of see them quicker. So, for example, like the torpedoes, the detectability range is 1.3 kilometers. So at 1.3 kilometers away from my ship, I should definitely see these torpedoes. So by adding that, it kind of maybe extends that range a little bit more, so I can see the torps coming at me sooner, so I can react to those torpedoes. But you have abilities and stuff that you can use to augment that as well. But trial and error. But like I said, with a battleship, my experience, my advice is instead of torpedo lockout system, I would probably go with concealment, to be honest with you, if I had the choice. As you can see, I've got two sitting that I could use, and I haven't mounted it, so I would go with the concealment system. Just my opinion, each to their own. Signal flags, what do they do? Signal flags. Okay, now signal flags, this is where it gets fun. Each one kind of does a different thing. And if you hover over them, luckily they kind of tell you what each one does. Now, if you, let's say you've got a bunch of these and you're like, oh, okay, well, this does this, this does this, this does this. Crap, well, what do I pick? Well, lucky for you, they just have this mount recommended. So you can click that and, you know, for this particular ship, whatever signal flags that you maybe possess that World of Warships recommends you use on it, they will automatically mount. And then if you don't, let's say I don't want this one, I can take that off and I can put that one on if I want. You know, you can kind of customize it however you want. But if you're unsure, mount recommended. Now, you only get 8 signal flags in total. For example, on this ship that I'm using, I think the majority of them are 8. I think it's 8 standard across the board. So, you know, whatever 8 you choose. Now, if they've got this big thing through there, it basically tells you, okay, there's no point in using this. And they're, you know, thankfully blocking it. I mean, you can mount it if you want, but they've kind of put this here to kind of say, yeah, no, don't use it. You're just wasting your flag, because the ship doesn't have the things that this flag would boost on it. So you're kind of just throwing a flag away. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out there. But signal flags again are kind of like those these upgrades where they can further customize and augment your base ship. So hopefully that helps. But we'll kick into battle and we'll play the Fusion here and we'll go from there. But hopefully that answered a bunch of questions for you guys, and hopefully that helped you guys in your journey. But feel free to ask. Don't be shy. The more questions, the better. I mean, hey, I'm here to help. I'm here to entertain, and you know, if I can help you guys along, then that's what I want to do. I didn't ever equip them. When do you show what I was doing? Oh boy, what did you do? You probably didn't equip them before. That's okay. I mean, I used to run ships with no camo on it and no no signal flags, none of that. Back in the day, camos used to give I think it was it was concealment, and some of them gave you additional boosts on top of that. But then they've changed it now, and I think the camos are kind of more cosmetic. I don't really see a a boost to anything with them on. I could be wrong. There might be, some that are still available in game that kind of boost things on your ship, but pardon me. But yeah, I haven't seen anything. I mean, Texas, this used to be an anti-aircraft beast of a ship. At one point, carriers were afraid to send its planes towards the Texas. Like, if you had a Texas on your team and you didn't have AA guns, or your AA wasn't good enough, you hung around the Texas and you were covered. But they kind of nerfed AA a bit to kind of give carriers a little bit more of a chance. Because I remember back in the day, honestly, like, you would send planes after planes after planes after planes at Texas, and planes would be there, you blink and the planes are gone. And back in the day, carriers, I enjoyed the carrier play back in the day. The problem that I had with carrier play back in the day, and it's completely different than it is now, is the lack of permanent planes, which they've corrected now, and the strafing ability, which I believe they've kind of solved, because the skill gap on strafing with fighters was like huge. Like, you could tell right away between a highly skilled carrier player and just somebody trying it out based on if they were strafing or not and how effective they were with it. Like, if you've seen somebody strafing and they were just like wiping planes out, you were like, oh crap, okay. Okay, so what do we got? 8 kilometers, and he can't see me until I'm about 6.8. I got detected. Damn it. Yep.
Smoke generator started. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Torpedoes, direct front. Smoke screen set.
We'll get those going out. Captain Catastrophe, lurking. How's it going? Thank you for the lurk, buddy. Oh, I see. I see. Let's get out of Dodge before our smoke goes. Come on, come on. No, this way. Come on, stop hugging the wall. There we go.
Our team has taken the lead.
Come on, detector. Get off. Get off, detected. There we go. Ooh, those tarps gonna hit. Come on, give me one. Give me one. Yes, there we go. And flooding. There we go. As you can see, his hit points are dropping. He's throwing on his hull repair. And see, I'm not even firing at him, and I'm getting damage. That's what I mean. Those that secondary damage, not from the guns, but from the torpedoes, are ruining Buddy's career. Fire torps, come on. What is going on? Why is... There we go. Okay, is my game lagging or what? I might have to get a new mouse or something because I'm clicking away and... There we go, got him on fire. Wow, yeah. I think I'm gonna need to get a new mouse because, like, really? Either that or there's some lag in the game. That's crazy. My stream is buffering up, lag. We're getting lag.
Enemy battleship foundered.
Am I back? We're connecting, we're getting lag. There we go, hopefully. There we go, I think we're back. A refresh, hopefully better now. Okay, there we go. We got Bing Bong ads in about 2 minutes and 18 seconds. I don't know what the hell's going on with the lag. If it keeps up, then what I'll do is I'll oh my god, it's like, really? If it keeps up, what I'll do is I'll just restart the stream. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is after this battle, I'll restart the stream,
Our victory is in sight.
redo my router and go from there. I don't know why it's lagging like this. This is just driving me up the wall. Yeah, it's lag. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. That's what's going on. It's just silly lag. Like, yeah, we'll. This is, oh my god, this is horrible. We're definitely gonna reboot the router in the stream after this. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, it's so far behind. Like, I've already taken out that Nelson, or the Nelson's already been sunk like a good 2-3 minutes ago. This is bad. Like, oh my god. Now we're getting ads. This is great. Okay. All right, folks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reboot the stream, redo the router, the whole kit and caboodle. Sit tight. I will be back as soon as possible. Basically, as soon as my router reboots, we'll be back. So if you aren't following yet, smash the follow button. That way, when I get on live again, you'll know, and you'll be able to come back and hang out with us. I really, really apologize. I do not know what's going on tonight with the lag. This is crazy. But we'll be right back as soon as possible. So thank you for your patience. Yeah, I really don't know what to say here, folks. But like I said, we will wrap it up for now. I'll put out a quick raid to a buddy of ours, and then we'll reboot and come back. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get this raid going. It's horrible. Okay, and that's done.